Moving to the next chapter on encouraging the adoption of heat collector systems. Successful implementation of horizontal heat collector systems depend on effective strategies to encourage their adoption. This section addresses the current barriers and measurements needed to encourage their integration into energy sectors. Three main areas include the following: financial incentives and financial support. One of the main barriers to the adoption of horizontal collector systems is the initial cost of the installation. To reduce this barrier, it is recommended that financing and financial supports mechanism can be implemented. The push for the adoption of horizontal collectors can be strengthened through direct subsidies for the installation and financing at reduced rates, or also green credits. In addition, fiscal incentives such as tax reduction for users and industries and VAT exemption on equipment and materials can make this technology more accessible. Innovative business models such as energy as a service schemes also allow users to pay only for the heat consumed without assuming the upfront cost, while public-private agreements facilitate the sharing of investments, but also risks. At the EU level, policymakers and institutions could consider establishing targeted EU financing facilities in form or an institutional arrangement to provide low-interest loans, guarantees, or credit lines for horizontal collector system projects. Furthermore, directives or guidance such as the PACE and on-bill financing across the EU could be enabled. Carbon price signals and energy tax reforms should be strengthened as well. This means, for instance, the swift implementation of the Energy Taxation Directive. Additionally, EU policymakers could make deployment targets and develop targeted financing actions to meet those. National and local governments should also implement and scale diverse incentives programs, such as a mix of grants, loans, and tax incentives to address different market segments. They could also encourage national utilities or energy companies to become effective implementers of horizontal collector systems financing. Likewise, removing regulatory barriers that prevent utilities from owning customer-sided assets would be beneficial. Moreover, splitting incentives could be addressed through regulation. This could be free, for example, meaning the updating rental laws and building codes to facilitate cost pass-through and decision-making for energy upgrades. Finally, investing in consumer awareness campaigns about the total cost of ownership benefits of groundwork of heat collector systems and the availability of new financing options is key. Moving to the second and third element for encouraging the adoption of heat collector systems. The integration into energy and urban policies. To achieve the broad adoption, horizontal collector systems need to be integrated into broader energy planning and urban development strategies. Key measurements include the following. The integration of horizontal collectors in renewable energy schemes requires specific targets within national and local strategies, as well as regulations to encourage their use in new urban developments. In terms of spatial planning, their installation can be encouraged in infrastructure projects such as parks, car parks, and green roofs, supported by thermal zoning maps to identify optimal locations. In addition, regulations can be streamlined through simplified licensing procedures and accelerated approval processes for projects that meet efficiency and sustainability criteria. Furthermore, there is the information dissemination and public awareness topic. Lack of knowledge about the benefits of horizontal collectors is an obstacle in their adoption. Therefore, it is necessary to educate both consumers and decision makers. Information campaigns can include accessible guidance and the use of digital platforms to communicate its benefits. Training of professionals and technicians can be strengthened through specialized programs and integration of geothermal energy into educational curricula. In addition, the implementation of pilot projects and documented success stories can demonstrate its feasibility and build confidence in this technology.